everyone. Today I'm just getting ready for the day, but I kind of want to talk about something with you guys, and I know many people have gone through this. I'm sharing this because I'm tired of the silence, I'm tired of the judgment. This video is going to be the struggles of miscarriages, the struggles of infertility, and if this is something that triggers you, please watch with caution. If you've been judged, if you felt pressured or invalidated in your grief, this video is for you. March 17, 2019 was my husband's birthday, and that day I remember feeling really, really sick. And I was like, you know what? Now that I think about it, I haven't got my period. And so at this time, we didn't have a car. We had to take the bus everywhere we went. We went to AT&T and then we saw Walmart. So we walked across. We bought a pregnancy test and we took it. I ended up finding out that day that we were expecting. We were so happy. We went from celebrating his birthday to celebrating a pregnancy. We did not wait to let people know. We told them right away because we were so excited. This was our first pregnancy. He doesn't have any kids. I never had any kids. And together this was just our first pregnancy. Checkups were good. Everything was good. Everything was moving along and we were happy. We were excited because we were about to be parents. June 1st, I remember waking up with cramping, a little bit of bleeding. So I ended up calling the OBGYN center and they told me to come in and that they were going to have a look. And so I ended up going in. They told me that I no longer had a mucus plug and that I was beginning to go through a miscarriage, but they didn't know when it would happen. They saw hemorrhaging and there was some fluid and that it was amniotic fluid. The doctor proceeds to tell me how I can get an infection if I don't end the pregnancy. At this point, my baby is still alive. And I tell her, no, I want to give my baby a chance. At this time, I am only 14 weeks. She tells me I can get an infection and that my baby will die inside of me. And I'm like, I don't care. She told me I was not far along where they could do a cerclage and close up my cervix so it could keep the baby in. He started talking to me about pregnancy procedures and how that they think it's best for me to end pregnancy. I couldn't do that to my baby. If there was still a fighting chance, I was gonna do everything in my power to keep my baby alive. June 18th, I go into what I think is going to be a normal ultrasound. The nurse gets quiet. At this point, they don't have a heartbeat going because they said at my early stage, they don't ever want to get the parent's hopes up. And so they don't let the parent listen to the heartbeat at this stage. And so she gets quiet and she's like, I'll be back. She comes back with the doctor. The doctor sits down and she proceeds to tell me that my baby doesn't have a heartbeat and that she's going to schedule me for a D&C because they need to now go in and remove my baby so that I don't get sick. She says at this point, your baby is no more and we need to schedule you for a D&C and we have an appointment available tomorrow. This kind of questioned it for a while. I questioned if whether my baby had actually died or if they were just worried and didn't want me to get an infection. And they went in there and told me, hey, no heartbeat, baby's gone. Just that way they could take it out. That's how I've always felt. They used to show me when the flickering of the heartbeat, they didn't show me any of that. Not even when I first got there, they didn't show me. Usually they do. They usually have it turned to me. They didn't. And so I always questioned. I'm like, no, doctors don't lie. But it's just something that has been in the back of my head ever since. And then she told me that she was going to do dilating sticks to help me go into labor. June 19th, I was to go in there, deliver my baby with the help of the dilating sticks. That was the most uncomfortable pain I had ever felt. I could not sleep. I could not do anything. I was up all night. Around 3 o'clock in the morning is when I had the most pain ever. They had scheduled that procedure to be done on the 19th at the hospital. It was supposed to be like at 1 o'clock. My body was going into labor quick. When I got there, they told me that they did not think that my body would go into labor this quick. And when I got there, there was no time. They just started scraping me out. I didn't get any medicine. I didn't get nothing. And it was the worst pain. I am so thankful, though, that I had my husband there holding my hand throughout the whole procedure. I always remember this day because it is a day before my parents' wedding anniversary. So the diagnosis was Pprom, preterm premature rupture of the membranes. This is where your water breaks before 37 weeks gestation. I was 17 weeks. When I heard that my baby was gone, I felt like a failure. I felt embarrassed because we told everybody early, and we were super excited. They were excited, and just to have to turn around and tell them we had a miscarriage, I felt like a loser. We had somebody close to us who was supposed to be a support system tell us right after we had the miscarriage that because they were quote old school, they didn't see us as parents because we did not have our baby. They didn't see us as parents because we did not have our baby with us because I didn't actually give birth. Somebody very, very close to us. They also told me that I should live my life and not dwell on it. That sounds so nice, doesn't it? And that day, I saw that person way, way, way different. No one should ever tell you how and how long to grieve. Let's normalize not asking people when they're gonna have kids. Because honestly, the amount of stress that I feel every time the same individual asks me when I'm gonna have kids, it's crazy. Don't ask people that. You don't know the struggles that they are facing behind closed doors. They may be trying, and here you are asking, oh yeah, well, when are you gonna have kids? You should have had kids by now. If you are a parent who has suffered a miscarriage and someone tells you that you are not a parent because you don't physically have the child with you, you are still a parent. Don't let them tell you anything different. Now, I saw this video on YouTube, and it was a doctor, and he was saying no matter if the mother had an abortion or they had a miscarriage, or now that they have their kids running around, that your baby's cells stay with you the rest of your life. My miscarriage happened in 2019. We have struggled to get pregnant ever since. I've gone back and I looked at files from the hospital. the back of your head, you're always questioning stuff. So I would always question if the doctor had done something that prevented me from getting pregnant again. Did I do something that prevented me from getting pregnant again? Did my husband do something that is preventing us from getting pregnant? You're always going to have those questions when you're not getting pregnant. It's just always been in the back of my mind. Like, what do I do? What am I doing that is not allowing me to get pregnant? We're not doing nothing wrong. Sometimes it just happens. The hardest part is being stuck. We want to get pregnant so bad. Not just a want, it's a need, it's a desire. But the path of getting that help, whether it's medical treatment or whether it's adoption, all of it is expensive. All of it is something that we cannot afford. And so, like I said, we're stuck. We've been hoping and we've been praying because we know that God is the one who has the last word. And we've just been praying because we know all things are possible through Him. It just feels like it's something that will never happen for us. And it makes me upset because you see all these people in the world right now who hurt their children, murder them. And here you are wanting a kid and it doesn't happen for you. Our baby is in heaven. She's a little girl. And though I never got to physically meet her because they did DNC and didn't want me to see her that way, I feel I could have done it over. I would have cremated her so that I could have her with me. Because I don't know what they do with babies that you lose during miscarriages and stuff. I should have just kept her with me. Her name is Selena Catalina Crowder, and she would have been 7 years old. I know how much it hurt for me to go through it. I can imagine how hard it is for you going through it now. I guess in that time that we went through it, I never really asked my husband what he felt. Because I always just felt like, oh, because I was a mother, I was the one going through it. But I have to understand that he's the dad. And I feel like I've never really questioned him. So I think I'm going to question him today and see what his perspective was on it. If you've never gone through a miscarriage, consider yourself very, very, very lucky. I was super ecstatic when I was pregnant. Going through 17 weeks, having something in your body, knowing that you're creating life, and then it's all just taken away from you in an instant. Pure torture. Going month after month, looking at pregnancy tests and only seeing negative, that damages a person. I can't tell you how many times, how many tests I've taken. I've lost count. I've lost count on how many I've taken. Recently, I found out that my job, a benefit they help with adoption, it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because I don't have the money or any means like that to do adoption. And they help with reimbursing for what you spend. And you can't spend what you don't have. And so I looked into that, and she told me, HR told me that would be an option, but I don't have anything to put down. It just seems like we can never catch a break, no matter what we do, what we try, nothing. It just seems like we will never catch a break. It just seems like it will never happen for us. And I know people are always like, keep trying, stop stressing about it, don't think about it. Another thing that kind of hurt me while going through my miscarriage was that I was living in New York. All my family was back in Texas. Yes, I had my husband, but I didn't have anybody that I could talk to. My husband was working. At the time, I was not. And so all my family was back home. I went through this miscarriage. I didn't have my mom there to like hug and, to go through what I was going through. I didn't have her there with me. And that was one thing that hurt the most. If you've gone through a miscarriage, I feel for you. You're not alone. If you're somebody who hasn't, and you know somebody going through a miscarriage, please let them grieve the way that they want. Let them take however long that they need. Grief does not go away. Yes, it gets a little easier sometimes to live with, but it does not go away, ever. I always think about my baby. I always think about the what ifs. And I know that I'm not the only one. I am 38 years old, and I feel like it'll never happen for me. I keep praying. I feel like I'm getting older. I feel like my time is closing. And when people are already going through a miscarriage or going through the struggles of infertility, they don't need people questioning them about when they're going to have kids, or when are you going to give us grandkids? When are you going to do this? We're already going through a lot of pressure. So people just need to back up and let people breathe. Another thing is, even if we were to get pregnant, I have that fear behind me, like, what if I get a miscarriage again? What if I have this? What if this happens? And that's also not a good thing, because it stresses me out even more. But whatever happens, I'm glad that I have my husband's support and that we are there for each other. And I know that he struggles with it too, because there has been times when he has gotten mad with God and he tells him, why is this not happening? Why isn't this happening for us? And he has gotten angry with him. And I still tell him, babe, you need to have faith. I like to bring up the stories in the Bible. Elizabeth, Sarah, Hannah, and I think Rebecca, they all had issues with getting pregnant. They trusted God, and God helped them. The same God that was there back then is the same God that is here now. And if he could do that with them, he could do that with me, and he could do that with you. So just keep the faith, guys, and maybe one day God will bless us all. I am going to bring my husband into this because I want us to hear from him. He's out doing favor right now, so I gotta give it a minute for him to come back. And then we're going to hear from him together and get his point on this. This is my makeup look. And this is my hair. I did a curl this morning. I used a wand. And so I think it looks really, really cute. So I kind of want to show you some of these ultrasounds that I have. This one right here, she had her hand up, like saying, hello world, hello mom, hello dad. I had these. She had a little big old head. Here you can see the nose, the lips. My little peanut. This was when I found out we were pregnant. I took like 3 of them because I took one and then I was like, you know, I don't think so. Let me try again. And then I was like, let me try one more time. And they came out and they were all positive. I was just so happy. We were over the moon and we thought that nothing could go wrong, you know, because this was our baby, our first baby together. And we were super excited. And then it just did not go the way we thought. These were her actual footprints. They were so tiny. Look at my finger compared to that. This was at 17 weeks. Looking back at this right now, it shows me that though I don't have her with me, I still have a baby. I still have a little girl in heaven. I'll be back with my husband. My husband's here. So this was this video. What are you looking at?
What's the third camera?
It's right here. This video is about our miscarriage. And so I have 7 questions for you that I want you to answer. And because I guess when I went through the miscarriage, I guess I only saw my perspective, like because I was a mom and I carried the baby. I really didn't see, like, yes, you were the father, but I felt like I had more, which I shouldn't have seen it like that back then because you were, you know, you were the reason why it was created.
Yeah.
And so I want to get your perspective because I never asked you about how you felt before. And so, okay. Number 1, I remember you held my hand through the whole D&C procedure. That procedure is, remember, where they had to scrape the baby out?
Yeah.
Okay. And I know that it's blurry now since it was like 7 years ago. But what was going through your mind at that point? Do you remember?
No.
You don't remember any of it? All I remember, this was his mindset, okay? I was trying to be like, I was in pain. And I just get up and I just hear him, he's like, it looks like a, what did you say? You said something like it looked like a battlefield in there because there was so much blood everywhere.
There's a lot of blood.
I just remember him saying that. That's really what all I remember. And I just remember holding his hand and squeezing his hand. So you don't remember?
For real, it was like dang near like a slaughter fest. Like if you, like it was like no, I mean like all the blood like freaking the gushing like it was. You know,
he's very graphic, y'all. So
it was good. He was devastated. I mean, like I could laugh about the blood and stuff like that now and stuff like that. But I mean, obviously the emotions are high, and like you know they're freaking extremely when you're in the moment. But
okay, 2. How did it feel to have everyone pressuring us to abort our baby while our baby was still fighting?
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, it's just like I felt like just freaking slapping everybody.
Yeah, it made me angry
I mean,
too.
like I was just like freaking. I was just like, nah, you're freaking wrong. I'm not gonna freaking listen to you, and I'm not gonna freaking. I don't care what you say. I'm just gonna freaking. We're gonna have it.
Yeah. Number 3. How does it make you feel when people try to act like because we didn't have our child physically with us? How did it feel when they treated us like we weren't parents because of our miscarriage?
To sum it up in a very simple way, I just say piss off to all those people. Simple as that.
I see you as a father.
Yeah.
You are still a father.
Yeah.
I'm still a mother. Number 4. Every time we see negative pregnancy tests, I know it hurts me. How do you feel in those moments?
At this point, I'm just like, I've seen so many of them. I'm just like, okay. It's
like it's never going to happen?
Yeah. It's just going to be negative after negative after negative. I'm just like, I might as well take the damn pregnancy test. I mean, because that's what it's going to be like every freaking time.
I don't know what to say after that. I just feel like when we try, it just feels like it's never going to happen. Because all you see is negative, negative, negative. And we're trying not to be negative.
Yeah, for real.
Okay, number 5. When people constantly ask us to have kids, it really stresses me out. I know it stresses you out. What would you tell them?
Basically, it's not an on-command thing. You can't just simply just, oh, where's our children, or where's your children, or where's da-da-da-da. If it was that simple, don't you think we would have kids already? Like, oh my God.
How many do you want? How many did you want? I would have been fine with just 2.
Yeah.
Before 2, he used to say like 5. Yes, you did. You used to. Okay, 6. If we could afford treatments or adoption, what would that dream feel like to you to finally get what you wanted?
Granted, I mean, like, all right, the way I see it, it's like half of me would be like, okay, this isn't fully my child because it's not my blood. But also half of me would be like ecstatic because, yes, it's my child because it's through, even though it's not blood, it's still adoption, it's still your child. And you're adopting that child into your family. So it's just,
like I was telling them earlier, that not being able to get pregnant feels kind of ironic because you have like the parts, but it's not happening, and it makes you feel like a failure. It makes me feel like a failure.
Well, kind of me too, but I mean, like at the same time, it's like not. It's like, okay, so what are other people doing in their lives in order to make it happen for them?
Yeah.
You know, type of thing. It's like, okay, so, but I mean, like, it's like probably a bunch of stuff. I mean, like, the stress I know is a main killer for it, but shoot, got freaking more than enough to fill the whole world with it.
You're not at fault. I'm not at fault. It's just sometimes it's things that just happen.
Yeah.
And the last question is, what is one thing you want people to know about what it's like for a dad or a husband going through miscarriage?
You know, it's a matter of like, just because it didn't exist doesn't mean that you look at it like it was nothing. It's like, because you did have a baby, but it's just a matter of like it didn't just fully come out like all the other babies. So it's just a matter of just, you gotta still see it as your child, but yet it, even though it doesn't reflect into the regular world. So it's just a matter of, yeah, you can count as you having one, you can be considered parents and all that stuff, but it's just a matter of just don't, I don't know.
Don't be hard on yourself. Like, it's just something that things happen. It sometimes happens. And though it happened, it doesn't mean that every pregnancy that you have will happen that way. Just keep trying. Have faith.
There's people out there that's a mixture between like they have regular children and they have miscarriages. So just like, you know, it doesn't just affect people that's not don't already have or don't have any children at all. It's just a matter of it affects everybody, whether they already had children before, whether they didn't have children, whether they, you know, just in between had children and not children, you know.
But one thing I said is, do not pressure people by asking them when they're going to have children, because you don't know what they're struggling behind closed doors.
Yeah. And I get it too much from my mom anyway. So she's already doing a job on that.
It's constant. But that was the end of his questions. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, if you have gone through a miscarriage, we know what it feels like. We know what you've been through. And
yeah, and if you ever come to Fredericksburg, patience is a huge thing you need to have. Because tourists around are just freaking... It is...
We're going to end it there. I hope you guys have a blessed day. Bye.